Hey everyone, this is Brett. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to call today's video just Great Vinyl Mail Day. Really excited about some things that came in the mail yesterday. Pre-orders of long out of print albums that just got reissued. It's exciting time for records because so many albums that have been out of print or never issued on vinyl are finally seeing the light of the day, and it seems like every week, every couple weeks, there's new and exciting things coming out. So let's kick things off with the reissue of the 2007 solo album from Siouxsie and the Banshees, Mantaray. Now, this is my original CD copy. I remember buying this shortly after it came out. I was on a trip in LA and I got it at Amoeba, and I didn't get it on vinyl back then because I wanted it on CD so we could play it in the van or whatever. Shortly after that, I remember going into a Hot Topic store when they used to sell records. Maybe they still do, I don't know. But they had a whole row of Mantaray original ones used on clearance, and they were not used, but new on clearance for like $8. And for some reason, I foolishly didn't get it. And I've always regretted it ever since then. I went back like a week later and they were gone. So anyways, it got reissued with new artwork. And this copy, it's been reissued on black vinyl, red vinyl, and then the Butterfly edition, which is limited to 1,000 copies, numbered, and released only through Siouxsie's website. And the Butterfly one is the one that we got. So you can see the numbering there. New artwork, Mantaray, the title kind of stretched out. It comes with an insert with credits on the back, and you can see her eyes are closed in the insert, so a little spin-off of the original photo there. So let me show you this record because it is seriously one of the coolest in the collection. There's the inner sleeve, it's just the Mantaray. So they call it the Butterfly, and we got a really beautiful one. You can see why it's called Butterfly. It looks like wings there. Just an incredible color combination. So really excited that this came out. As I mentioned, it was her solo album, and her one and only solo album thus far. Came out in 2007. Favorite tracks on this one, I love the grittiness of the opening track, and it was the album's first single, Into a Swan, Loveless, About to Happen, all great stuff. I should also mention that this actually originally came last week in the mail, and when I opened up the mailbox, if you ever seen that movie Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme, from like 1989. There's a final scene in there at the Kumite where his character Frank Dukes is fighting Chong Li, and for that final match they take the mat and they make it so it's like slanted, so it forces them to fight in the middle. That's how the record arrived when I pulled it out of the mailbox. I looked at the cardboard and it was literally the Kumite mat from Bloodsport. Anyways, they corrected it, sent out a new one, and thrilled to have this in the collection. And as you saw, a beautiful copy. So this one's in stores now, I think it came out last week technically, so be sure to grab a copy of that. Next up, 3 long out of print albums from the 4AD Shoegaze, Dreampop, Britpop at times band Lush. Over the course of their career, which was relatively short, their recording career, which lasted from like the late 80s to 96, they got back together 2015, 2016, and released an EP, and then they called it a day. So these albums have been extremely hard to find. They've never been reissued on vinyl, except for that box set that came out, I don't know, 10-ish years ago, the Origami one, which I didn't get at the time just because, I didn't want to spend the money. And thankfully, 4AD has reissued them. So 1992, this was their debut. They did have a release that a lot of people consider their first album, but it's Gala, which came out in 90, which was just a collection of EPs, singles, B-sides, that kind of stuff. But this is truly their first solo album. This is produced by Robin Guthrie of the Cocteau Twins. I remember getting this before, shortly after it came out, and then in September of that year, 92, I got to see them at the second Lollapalooza Festival in Phoenix. They were the first band at 3 o'clock. It was Lush, it was Pearl Jam, Jesus and Mary Chain, Soundgarden, Ice Cube, Ministry, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It just goes down in my kind of concert-going history as like one of the just varied lineups that was just killer from beginning to end. And Lush were the openers that day. It was like, I don't know, 118 degrees. It was horrendous. I would never do something like that again. But yeah, so that's their debut. Favorites on this one: Nothing Natural, For Love, Untogether. So that is Lush, Spooky. And then after that, including Spooky, the second album. This is 1994, Split. Now, I pulled out my CD copy because this is the way I've always known the cover with the lemons, and the back cover of the CD looked like that as well. So I honestly think that I'd probably argue that this is Lush's best work. I think their sound really developed and evolved, and I think this album is really, really quite excellent. Produced by Mike Hedges, who worked with The Cure, Siouxsie and the Banshees, U2. Favorite tracks on this one: Light from a Dead Star, Kiss Chase. I remember I think they performed it on MTV 120 Minutes. Love Life, Desire Lines. Just a great album. So that is 1994's Split, their second one. And then they also did their third and final album. And they called it quits after this album, about 7 months after it was released. The drummer, Chris Ackland, had passed away, so the band ceased to exist after that. They didn't end up continuing. So this one features Jarvis Cocker of Pulp on backing vocals on the song Chow. A bit more poppy. The vocals are definitely more out front on a lot of the songs. Here's that original CD of mine. You can see it's just a portion of the cover there. And there's the back. Favorites on this one: 500, Single Girl, Tra La La. And I know I didn't pull out any of the inserts on it, but I just ended up opting for the black vinyl. It is available in clear as well. So that's it for today, what I would refer to as a great vinyl mail day. Anyways, if you guys are unfamiliar with Lush or Siouxsie's solo album, I encourage you to check them out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.